you cannot be 300 pounds of pure muscle naturally. He definitely has a desire to be massive. I think he referenced that he wouldn't mind being 300 pounds. Dogs. What is up, YouTube world? So I'm here in the office taking a little bit of a break from being a lawyer, and I'm switching over to my content creator mode, my content creator brain. And I'm watching the current king of growth on YouTube, at least in the fitness segment, which is no other than Sam Sulek. He might be the fastest growing YouTube channel in the world. I don't know. I don't really follow those kind of things, but he's basically from 0 to 2.5 million in 10 months, which is pretty substantial in terms of subscribers. And I like his content a lot. Before I even say anything about him, I watch a lot of his videos. At least I watched like 5 to 10 minutes. I like the rants in the car more than I watch for the lifting, because I'm watching more for his personality than trying to emulate his lifts or his physique. I'm watching right now his video that he posted this morning, which I guess is a grocery haul, and talking about whatever he usually talks about. So first, let it be said that I am a big fan of Sam. I think almost everything he says is spot on. I like the way he trains. I like the way he thinks. For being a 21-year-old in college, he has a really good head on his shoulders, at least as far as what he's putting out there and the character that he's playing when he's on camera. I've never met Sam. I don't know anybody that knows him. I don't know what he's actually like off camera. Comments seem to be pretty cool from the people that have met him, but most of the stuff he says is pretty on point, pretty A1. I love that he pushes cardio. I myself was sleeping on cardio heavy for basically my entire adult life. I started probably actually working out at the age of like 30, and I'm 42 now. But admittedly, most of those 12 years, my diet was terrible, and I didn't do that much cardio. I finally started adding cardio, and I didn't add cardio because of Sam's advice, but I did start adding cardio about 3 months ago, and it's made a huge difference in multiple aspects of my life. But I am a huge proponent of doing cardio. It makes you feel amazing, I think, and I definitely think it's I do know the reason that I started doing cardio is because I started paying attention to what Huberman and Peter Attia, mostly Peter Attia, was saying about VO2 max and cardio training and being, in good cardiovascular shape, how important it is for your heart and for your overall body. And that's why I started it. But I do love, sorry, I went on a tangent. I do love that Sam is pushing cardio. He's not talking about the specifics of why. He's just convinced that doing cardio is good for you and it will help you whether or not you're cutting or bulking. He's convinced that it's good for you because it makes he does talk a little bit about how it gives you more endurance and it gets your cardiovascular health up. So I love that he is hammering. Let me take a sip of my Vault keto drink. Shout out PBD. I love that Sam is hammering his viewers on doing cardio because everyone wants to slack on doing cardio. In his estimation, he says less than 3% of people do it. I think he might have been a little bit pessimistic there because he's trying to motivate people to do it. But ever since I started doing my cardio, it's made a huge difference, and I'm getting a lot leaner, and it's just helping me a lot. But with all that being positively said about Sam, he's completely ignoring one big topic in all of his videos, at least as far as I've seen. And I think I've seen videos about this as well. He's completely. Oh, and by the way, Sam was also brought up on the Joe Rogan show in the last few days. And Joe Rogan's reaction was, you know how Joe Rogan is. He doesn't really bite his tongue too much. Segue into what I'm about to say, which is Sam does not talk about gear, what he's using, if he's using, just completely doesn't address it at all, at least as far as I know. And as a father of two young boys, I presume 95% of Sam's audience is men between the age of 13 and 35, which I'm outside that demographic, but not by too much. But I am a father of two young boys. Assumably they'll be watching this kind of content soon, even though they're only 5 and 3 right now, so definitely not yet. But Sam has 2.5 million subs. You know, if he continues to grow with any kind of frequency, he'll be at 5 and then maybe even 10 within a few years. He has a massive amount of influence, and the same way that he's trying to convince people to do the right thing, do your cardio, you know, all this other stuff, I think that he is going to have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is gear usage. As they talked about on the Joe Rogan podcast, he was something like 180 pounds. I don't know. Don't quote me. He pretty much gained, he's about 250 right now, I think, and he's pretty lean. He's probably 10 to 12%, so it's mostly muscle. He's gained somewhere in the vicinity of 50 to 60 pounds of muscle in 3 years, 2 years, something like that, which I'm a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a biohacker. I'm a hobbyist of this stuff, so I pay attention, but I'm definitely not an expert. But like Joe Rogan said, he is saucy, meaning he's on gear and he's on a lot of it. And I think that it's dangerous for him, and it's irresponsible, personally, to be on the camera every single day making content. He's glamorizing, although he's not like, he's very far on the side of low key, not a flashy guy, wears jackets in the gym. He's not trying to flex literally on people, but of course then he does go into the locker room and does his pose downs and likes to see how the pump looks and how jacked he is. But he's on the right side of, he's on the correct side of, like, whether being like overly showy and showing off his muscles. But I do think that he's going to have an introspective moment at some point in this fast growth trajectory that he's had. And I think he's going to have to talk about it, because by not talking about it, you're not as bad as the Liver King, who just lied to everybody straight up and said, no, I'm 100% natty. But you're not innocent either. By staying completely silent, you are making people guess as to what's going on. You're not giving the disclaimers that you could and that you should be giving about this is not natural. You should not be expecting to look anywhere near like what I'm looking if all you're doing is eating and taking protein shakes and creatine. I've gained 67 pounds in 3 years. Realistically, I think I would have gained 22. You know, whatever, in his words, the truth would have been. So, you know, I've been thinking about it a lot, because I like I said, I absolutely love I don't know him personally. I just know his content. I've watched a decent amount of it over the last month or two, like a lot of people on YouTube, and he's growing fast. He's got a great personality. It's very authentic. It's not a lot of fancy editing, which I think people love. I love it. It's calm. It's chill. It's like a solo podcast every day, just him talking about how he wants to get jacked. He definitely has a desire to be massive. I think on the last one I watched, I think he referenced that he wouldn't mind being 300 pounds, or that he's maybe that would be great if he was 300 pounds. So he clearly wants to be massive. And you cannot, as far as I know, not an expert, you cannot be 300 pounds of pure muscle naturally. It just doesn't work. Maybe a very small handful of people on Earth could get there, but I don't even know if that's possible. Um, so yeah, I think if Sam wants to be the highest and best version of himself that he could be, I do think that he's going to have to talk about his gear usage, and he's going to have to explain to his fans and his followers what his methodology is, why he chose to use it, what his plan is in terms of stopping using it. Does he have a doctor helping him? So on and so forth. A big part of his brand is transparency. And I think that if he wants to continue to have super loyal fans that really love him and adore him, because, man, he's absolutely crushing it right now, and for good reason, because he's being what seems to be super authentic. Um, I think he's gonna have to. I think he's gonna have to rip off the Band-Aid, and I think he's gonna have to start talking about gear. So there's just so long. There's just not. There's just so much time that you can let go by without addressing the elephant in the room before it's going to be the only thing that people want to hear him talk about. So maybe he's putting together a plan. Maybe he's thinking about it. You know, he's got good people around him now. He's got a lot of resources. I don't know how much money he's making off of his channel, but 2.5 million subs. He's getting 500,000 views a day. I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure that's at least 100K a month. So $1 million a year, maybe a lot more, especially now that he has endorsements too. So Sam, I think you're doing great. I hope you're being safe-ish. You're 21, so you can definitely get away with some stuff, but you know, we just saw Joe Linder pass away, and who knows the ins and the outs of that. No one ever will except the close family and the doctors. But be careful. Get good people around you, and you'll come to the right conclusion eventually. So I'm going to keep watching your videos, bud, but think about your brand. Think about your own personality. You sound like you were raised by a great family. You have a really cool brother. He's a golfer. I've seen some of his videos. I was a big golfer until I had 3 back surgeries. Your health is your greatest asset. And when you're young, you don't realize that. I didn't realize that when I was young. Now that I'm 42 and I have 2 kids and I've had 3 back surgeries, I know how important your health is. And to jeopardize your health just to look a little bit extra jacked for a few years at the risk of potentially having lifelong health issues. For some people, it's worth it. For some people, they're like, I don't care. I'm signing up for it. You're still going to regret it later, because later is when you pay the price. You get all the glory now, and you pay all the price later. It's like getting a fast, fancy car. After a month of driving the car, the only thing that's left is the payments. That's what my good friend says. But it's a short-term versus long-term thing. And if you want to borrow all your future health in order to look amazing now, you can do it, but you're going to pay a heavy price. So be safe and think about the way you want to present your brand going forward.